Blue Kool-Aid drinkers. We are back, baby. We are back, and we are better than ever because the Lions have moved to 12-1 on the season. 4 games left to go. Number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Still only a game up. We're going to get into everything about the Lions' Thursday night win over the Packers. We apologize for the podcast coming out a little later than usual Thursday night, and then just some scheduling things. So we're doing this a day later, but that's all right because we have had another day.
It's a 10-day gap.
Yeah, we've had another day to think about it.
It wasn't scheduling things. It was a drunken bachelor party. Admit it. Come on.
All right, we'll admit it. We'll
Prioritize.
Yeah. Anyway.
So without further ado, let's introduce the Blue Kool-Aid crew that is here. I am Big Z. Let's get to the rest. We got Bob.
Hello, everyone.
UJ.
Hello, Lions fans.
And Red Dog.
Yo.
All right, so, gentlemen, listeners, the Lions with an epic 34-31 win over the Green Bay Packers. A game where the Lions went for it on 4th down 5 times, got 2 touchdowns, clinched a clinching run at the end. And I just want to hop into this first because there was criticism from Teddy Bruschi saying Dan Campbell hasn't learned his lesson from last year that lost him the NFC Championship. And he thinks he's got a screw loose basically, and Dan Campbell only coaches on emotion. I think this is preposterous.
That's stupid.
I don't think Teddy Bruschi's learned how Dan Campbell operates clearly, and how the Lions have been successful, and how the mentality. I think he's definitely in the minority, but I just thought it was ridiculous from one of the top ESPN talking heads on their NFL show. And it kind of coincides with there was a lot of people texting me that meme with Dan Campbell and with his nuts in a wheelchair because they're so big.
Oh yeah. Or where he's got the on the game show and he's got 95 and he's 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, I just love. We all love the mentality that Dan Campbell brings, that aggressiveness. Especially, they knew they were going to be aggressive on 4th down throughout this game, clearly, because they went for it on their own 31 from a yard away. I disagree with the type of play call they'd had on that play.
The whole thing with Bruschi, though, you got to consider, which he wasn't considering, how banged up the Lions' defense is.
Right.
They're counting on the offense. So then he even told the players before the game, we're going for it on 4th down. Just expect that. So it's not like he does that every game and every time. It's very specific to this game.
I completely agree. Would you, Jay and Red Dog, you guys agree?
I think. Yeah,
No, there's different ways of looking at that, Bob. You said the defense was shorthanded and stuff, but you're also putting a lot of faith in your defense if you don't get it. So it kind of goes both ways on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lack of faith in his defense. I think he chose and visualized and strategized for a hyper-aggressive game plan this week, and he said that's the game he envisioned them playing, and that's the game they wanted to play. So did it come with some risk? Yes. But I think I hate the gambling analogy for Dan Campbell because I don't think that's how he operates. I don't think he's gambling on percentages or against odds. He likes aggression. He likes violence of action. It's an overall mentality, a strategy, an identity. It's who we are. We're aggressive. We don't like settling, and we plan accordingly for going for it more often than other people do. It's baked into our entire game plan. It's not a spur of the moment thing like it is for probably most coaches. We plan. Sometimes we run the play on 3rd down and 1st down and 2nd down exactly because we know we're going to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
So it's calculated.
Yeah, and the main thing is keeping the ball out of the other team's hands.
Not emotional.
Don't leave it in the other team's hands. Leave it in our hands. So by you get that 1st down, you take it out of the Packers' hands. They have no chance. And we see the good teams do. The Chiefs did it last week, I think, or this last week. And, we see the good teams are able to do that, close the game out on their terms, don't even give the Packers a chance. That was a great call.
Yep. Teddy Bruschi speaks to, I feel like, a mentality that, the NFL goes in like waves of what's like acceptable norms and stuff. Like it used to be, you always punt on 4th down pretty much religiously, and now like I feel like Teddy Bruschi's from like a bygone era where it's like he just can't get it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with everything you guys have said. Yeah, it was ridiculous. But nonetheless, there's still a lot of coaches in the league that don't operate with that mindset, like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's been he's always one step ahead.
Yes.
The way he thinks, I mean, just the touchdown plays too are just so well designed. You gotta love the Texas route from Gibbs. That's just a beautiful. There's just understanding the defense you're going against, knowing you get that linebacker matchup. I wish I do that more, honestly. That route.
Yeah.
That was like Theo Riddick-ish, you know.
Yeah.
Gibbs definitely has that speed. I don't know if he has quite like the moves maybe Theo had to get open. At least we haven't really seen it too much. But
the Tim Patrick touchdown where they had Amon-Ra as a
running
back.
Yeah.
And,
oh my God, yeah.
And they had the way.
You could see the defense. I don't know if you saw the breakdown of that, but like the defenders, like, who am I supposed to cover here? Am I covering the receiver? Or he's like the running back. There's confusion right before the snap, so that helps.
Well, right. Well, they're extra confused because usually these guys are reading the number, and Amon-Ra kept his body like parallel to the ground pretty much when he was walking up the line, so they couldn't read his number. And just that little really split, extra like second and a half that it took him to recognize the play and not get set up.
That's next level.
Really helping
when you
out.
talk about that,
So.
you talk about that attention to detail. Amon-Ra doing that so he can't see the number. I mean, the littlest details, man. They're just so good at that stuff. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Go if listeners, if you haven't seen it, go back, watch how the line's coming out of the huddle. Amon-Ra pretty much stands where he is within the huddle, like next to the quarterback. Like he doesn't really move once they break the huddle, but he like keeps his body bent down, so they can't really see his number to cause confusion.
They're so good at using their weapons in every way. Like just like when you're turning your tackle into an offensive weapon and using your guys like that, that's just next level. We're setting the trends in the league right now, man. This team is just the cream of the crop, the cutting edge. Oh, it's so awesome.
One other thing on that, where people are criticizing the Lions for going for it on 4th down, I saw some commentator they're like, if this was college, he would have been down with the knee. I'm like, well, then it's not college. Why are you even talking about that? Okay. Like that's like. You need 2 feet in. And it's just basic NFL stuff. I don't know. People are just looking for stuff to criticize.
I know, really, they are.
Yeah. It's just hard to let like the last little moments of hope go fading away on a suspect-looking play like that, I think. Like, you know, having seen it from the other side, things like that, where it's like Rodgers did something stupid, but then he still threw the Hail Mary. Like, damn it. like, now we're the team that it's like, oh, we trip, but we still make the first down play that wins the game because we're the freaking Lions, baby, and we the best.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's talk about the rest of this offensive performance. Montgomery goes for 51 yards and 14 carries. Gibbs 43 on 15 carries. Not the best running night, but they were effective enough. Right. And then how about this box score? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different guys had 5 receptions or more.
Insane.
How
incredible.
You never see that in the
NFL
NFL these
it's
days.
Never been done. It's first time in history of the NFL.
Incredible.
Stats like that are Jared Goff's version of like running really fast at the sideline and then chucking the ball 75 yards over your shoulder for a completion.
Seriously, that is the first time ever in history. I mean,
you know, like think about it. These running quarterbacks get all this credit because they're so flashy and they make their wet legs are so dangerous. Jared Goff doesn't like hit you like that. He hits you with cool stone cold efficiency and just tears you apart. He's so damn good.
You saying Goff can't run?
Hey, Goff ran in this game too. He had 7 yards.
I'm just saying the reason people like get all excited about like a Josh Allen and his highfalutin play. Granted, he's much more efficient this year than he has been in years past, which is why I think he is like a viable candidate. But Goff is just so good as a pure passing quarterback. He's just
Josh Allen did run
for
3 and threw for 3 last week.
And
that's
never
good.
been done.
Yeah, no, he's a great player. I'm just saying, like you see, like let's look at it from the other end. Like, Jordan Love was anointed at the end of last year because he could make some fancy plays, because he could run outside the pocket and chuck it downfield, and they were already putting him ahead of Jared Goff. But Jared Goff is elite as a pocket passing quarterback, and he doesn't get that kind of recognition. So all I'm saying is he keeps breaking records in the passing categories. Maybe it doesn't look as fancy as Josh Allen's, but the dude is playing elite level, like top of the line, maybe best in history type football. That's my point. So,
All right.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Best in history, you're saying? Best in
Wow.
history.
I mean,
type
historical.
football.
He's breaking records.
Like Quentin Cephas level?
Oh,
Quintez
Even
Cephas?
better than Quintez Cephas.
Oh,
level.
imagine
okay.
if we had Quintez Cephas. Whew.
Oh, boy.
Goff, 32 of
Playing game right
41,
now.
3 touchdowns, 283 yards. He did have the one interception that cost us pretty much a touchdown. It's pretty much a pick six. It went to the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
And that was just he wasn't looking when he threw. Basically, he looked to his left, before he right to the right, and there was a guy there. So, I mean, good read by the defense, too. They clearly knew it was coming. But, yeah. I mean, the big ones in this game, I thought Tim Patrick, just another great performance. 2 touchdowns from him. Finally got in the end zone.
Yeah.
He got 2 in
That
this
was
game.
awesome.
And he's just been a monster. And he finally got the game ball. Looked gracious for it. Just a really cool story all around. I mean, we mention him almost every week now. His ascent, he just keeps getting better and better and better in this offense. Meanwhile, Josh Reynolds got released by the Broncos. So that's not looking too bad, actually. How everything broke down with that. So the Lions clearly knew something.
Well, I think Tim Patrick was kind of like a higher level caliber receiver anyway, right? Before these injuries, like wasn't he kinda
before.
like a he wasn't like a journeyman like Reynolds was he? He was like pretty like he's like a Broncos legend, right? Like
Well, he wasn't a legend.
Well, I don't know about journeyman. He was undrafted, so
With a
okay.
And Josh Reynolds was good. I mean,
No, he was
until
good.
The playoffs.
I'm
yeah,
saying-
until the
Game.
playoffs.
You know, he was good last
yeah,
year.
he crumbled in that. That sucked.
Yeah.
If you wonder why we don't have him, watch that game again. Cause
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if,
that reminds
and if
me.
you wonder, if you want to
Screen.
blame Campbell for losing that game too, look at those 2 missed, catches by Josh Reynolds and the
Yeah.
fumble. But anyway,
Well, that's not his decision.
but I mean the rest. J-Mo, another beautiful game from him. He can just make tough catch. Actually, in this game, I thought our receivers. I think we had 3 drops in this game.
yeah.
Laporta
But-
did had one.
Well, Laporta had one. Amon-Ra had one.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if Amon-Ra just dropped
think Tim
that or
Patrick
if
had
he
one.
got
I'm trying to remember
chipped,
who the
but
third
he actually
one.
dropped that, huh?
I thought they
Oh,
got
yeah.
shit,
Okay.
too.
No, it was a drop. But I mean, Amon-Ra comes up big and on the final drive there on the 2nd and long. So I mean, everybody stepped up even after they had their drop. Sam Laporta had one of the best catches of the season
Yep.
on that rocket over the middle, fully
was
extended.
Nice to see him heating up again
It
a little
is.
bit.
Yeah, that's it's kind of leaning towards theirs. Keep involving Sam Laporta more in this offense. I think he's had some drops this year. I think that's his 4th of the season. So he's not quite up to last year's Sam, but at the same time he's not being fed as much. So I don't know if he's fully in rhythm. But maybe this
He
game
was
will get him
banged
on his. He's been shoulder issues.
They haven't been throwing to him, but he's been out there and he's been blocking. And
Yeah.
it's interesting what they do this year. There's a lot of 3 tight end sets out there
Yeah.
where they're doing some of these plays. It's interesting. They're just always mixing it up out there.
Man, if he's heating up down the stretch, this offense is just going to be that more unstoppable. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Some other
he's a
plays
weapon.
I loved. Amon-Ra had 1 carry for 10 yards. Just a really cool counter.
Great play.
A fake zone out to the outside counter with Amon-Ra to the left. I just
cool.
love the
It was a
creativity
good
that we
play
see every
too
week on this
because
offense.
we were having a hard time running. They were having a hard time freeing Gibbs and Monty up to
Yeah.
get decent yardage. Atypically with them guys, but and then they throw that play in there, and it just sort of seemed to open it up a little bit. It was a nice play.
I think that highlighted how they exploited that, though, UJ, because they all bid on Gibbs, the
Yeah.
threat of Gibbs to the other side. The fake toss really just drew the defense in, man, because he's a threat every time he touches the ball.
Every time.
Oh, man. He's good, man. Like, they did a good job, you're right, of kind of limiting Gibbs, but you can see how hard he is to tackle, too.
Well, it just shows this offense, and I thought we took a good shot by the Packers. I mean, they really did well against our run game, which we're usually dominant in, and but eventually we figured out a way, and our O-line, they whiffed a couple times on a few plays. One Ragnar whiffed really bad on a play where I believe Goff got sacked. I'm not sure, but but they rise up in the end. It was a battle, but in the end they come through. When they have to, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's why our line is so good.
And
when you
arguably
have
made it hard on ourselves.
St. Rita product Pat O'Connor out there.
Yeah, let's throw it to the
man.
defensive side, because this was, half the defense was people that just joined in the last week. So they were really held together by duct tape and bubble gum, but they stuck together to eke out this win and do enough. Jamal Adams got over, I think he got 8 snaps in this game. Just people like that. Quan Alexander. And like you mentioned, Bob, Pat O'Connor, he was playing nose tackle. He's more of like a 3 or 5 technique, so he's playing out of position in a lot of ways.
Yeah. He looks like
but he was
good
in,
when he is rushing the 3.
He was in 85% of the snaps. He's not a guy that's going to beat you like with any crazy pass rush moves like we see Hutch do all the time. But at least he's maintaining his pass rush lane, and he's putting some pressure on the quarterback. Yeah. I thought he had a great game for what the Lions were asking out of him and what he's been throughout his career.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he more than maintained. The run game maybe was a little different story, but the pass game, his get off, man, he was hitting the seams fast.
That's what I was going to say. His get off was incredible in that game.
I thought he looked very good. I mean, he's a big dude, 6'4", 300 pounds with some nice speed. He's obviously a developmental guy, but man, he's showing some good signs. I thought
developmental.
I don't know if he's developmental. He's been in the league 9 years.
It's a journeyman.
A guy who's developed to the point where now maybe we're seeing what he can be, his upside, and he's showing it. He's looking good. But yeah,
that's
right.
why he was on the practice squad because just for this type of game.
Exactly.
And it's interesting because the announcers noticed him and Campbell mentioned him too in the interviews.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, he looked
definitely
good.
stood out. Who's the linebacker we got from Seattle? He made a key tackle there on
Quan? Or was that?
Yeah, it was of Jordan Love when he was running for a first down.
Ezekiel Turner.
And it was not only that,
what a
violent
play.
tackle. It was beautiful where he whipped his head into the ground. That was beautiful, man.
But what a clutch play! The guy just joins the team and then he's got a key play like that. It was nice.
Absolutely.
It was excellent.
Right, you had Jonah Williams out there. You've had David Long, who got signed last second, and now he's been playing almost 100% snaps the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy how much he's played.
It's incredible.
That kid from Seattle, the D tackle, looked good too. Adams, I think. The other Adams, not
Miles
Jamal
Adams.
Miles Adams. He looked solid, man. They even highlighted him once or twice. They all played their roles well, man. They just stepped in. But that's part of the genius of this coaching staff and this team. They get the right kind of guys, and then they get them in here and give them a super limited purview on the snap. Give them something they can just go out there and execute violently and fast. These guys were not working the depths of our playbooks. They were just given simple assignments to go execute, and they were doing it, man. It was great.
Yeah, I agree. That was the key. They were playing fast. Even though they're, a lot of guys that come over to a team, they just start there and, they got to learn the system. No, these guys were flying around the field. It was great. It was great to see.
And Jack Campbell was the maestro there, man, directing, moving guys.
You could literally see him moving it was chess pieces and.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah.
That's a captain right there, man. That's the dude who is a leader. It was excellent to watch.
Led the team with 8 tackles. Kadeen Muhammad has continued to be a pretty good veteran presence as well.
Good.
The Lions have tested their depth to extreme measures this season on the defensive side, and they have met every test so far.
I don't know if he made a big play or anything, but there was an awesome moment when he just absolutely flattened a tight end at the line of scrimmage. Did anyone notice that? I think it was away from the play or something, and he just checks this dude and just boom.
Muhammad?
No ASCII.
Oh.
I said no ASCII. Anyway, yeah, he just freaking launches this dude onto his back just from a standstill sick.
And
I mean, he's just a hard worker out there. I mean, I don't. He doesn't pop for a lot of plays, but I like him what he's doing out there as well.
yeah, I want to give an Academy Award out to Skipper for in this game because he got Walker to shove him, and he put on a great
Quay Walker, my favorite Packer.
and then
My
and then
favorite
Skipper
Packer.
just in
Permanent
beautiful
residence under his
fashion,
skin.
like a trained stuntman. Boom! He goes down like in a heap, and the referee sees it. And then, I know I saw it too in the huddle. He's like winking at someone, and he winked at a guy in the huddle right after the play. He was totally
got him.
acting in that one. It was great. Drew the penalty.
That's
Way
crazy.
to go, Skip.
Well,
Just
Quay
great
Walker-
job. Yeah, go ahead, Road Dog.
I just say the Lions live under that dude's skin. Like, he can't help himself when he's playing us. He always seems to draw a stupid flag. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if the skipper was even coached for that. Just watch out if he gives you an opportunity.
You should have brought the trainer out there again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kicked
then
out
you
of
would
the
have pushed
game.
him. Yeah. How about I just we were so depleted going into that game, and how about when Lee McNeil went out? We're like, oh, no.
Oh,
Right. Unbelievable. It's like, here we go.
Yeah,
It's early. It was early in the game.
I know. That's what's so impressive about the defense. I mean, that they
Right.
Impressive.
they stayed in that game with the way they with McNeil out and everybody else out. It's crazy.
Yeah, so Broderick Martin had to step up a little bit more in this game. He played okay. He still got a way to go.
Josh Jacobs definitely got that was probably one of our worst run defensive performances of the year overall. I'd say, like yards wise, anyway. And Josh Jacobs got going pretty good for a little bit there,
For a little bit.
which opened up their pass game.
Yeah, it was average. It was like middle of the
But
pack type
it
of
was
defensive
enough.
performance.
It was enough for him to get their
Yeah.
pass game to be effective, and that's why they were scoring points. Like,
Yeah, Rod Dog. I mean, I agree with you. Like compared to what we usually have when Reader and everybody's in there, you're not going to run like that. Like they
Right,
did with a
right.
touchdown. Yeah. Like
3 touchdowns.
It was actually better. It was better run defense than the last time we played them in Green Bay. So numbers wise, at least.
all right, we'll bench McNeil. then.
But once the Packers got inside the 5, I felt like there was no chance we were stopping them from scoring.
Well, that's
I
something
thought we
that
were going to ass
slants
kick when we got inside the 5.
the offense's contribution. That's like. It might even be not fair to put all 31 points on our defense when you consider what the offense did to them. It's so funny. The offense is going to take up the mantle. Okay, but we'll give you 2 super short fields to defend while we're at taking up the mantle. I don't know. Sometimes
Right.
I feel like our defense still finds a way to outperform the offense in ways. Like, they got a turnover. Like, if the offense just played a clean football game, we probably should have walked away with this one a little easier. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Well,
Haters got to hate, man.
this defense is just so good, is my point. Like, and Glenn's ability to keep them being productive and competitive is just remarkable.
And you,
Yeah,
go ahead.
the 2 turnover on downs definitely a killer because, I mean, overall the Packers only had 300 yards of offense, but that was because they had 2 touchdowns from within 30 yards of field.
The 31-yard and then the pick. What was the other turnover on down? Did we?
Well, the 4th and 1 that resulted in the ball being on the 30. So that's
You
a
said
turnover.
2
technically.
turnover on downs.
I said 2 turnovers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yep.
So, I mean, but Carlton Davis, this was not his best game either. Now, suffice to say, the pass rush wasn't superb either. So, I mean, it's always tough. But at the same time, he got burned by Watson on that one deep pass.
How about, I loved Christian Watson in the draft. Like I was hoping the Lions would get him that year, but he's a good receiver. But it was awesome when he got that one and then he fumbled it.
Yeah.
He's flipping in the air.
Yeah, but so there was a pro Carlton Davis play at least for
Right.
you. Unfortunately,
There
that
was.
fumble
Yeah.
there. That was a key play as well.
Yeah.
Good hustle.
That
But
was
he did
nice.
have the one bad drive where he gave up the deep pass, then the Tucker Craft touchdown over the middle.
You got to remember that Watson did actually run like 0.2 of a second faster than, or not tenths, 100ths faster than Gibbs at the combine. The dude is a kind of a freaky athlete in his own right.
Yeah, he is.
4.34 speed,
Oh, yeah.
6'4".
He struggled to stay healthy in his career thus far, and the start of his career, he couldn't catch the ball to save his life, but he's improving in that aspect.
I'm
of
happy
it.
for Packers fans, too. They get to watch Jordan Love for the next 10 years, who's a master of mediocrity. It's so good luck, Packers.
I thought
fans,
he was the best quarterback in the NFC. They decided at the end of last year. That was the
$50 million a year.
Yeah,
I
wow.
believe.
he kept ranking ahead of Goff somehow.
It's the biggest deal since what was that game on New Year's when like Flynn or whatever came in to the Packers and beat us with like 500 yards of passing and got a huge contract there because of that one game.
Got paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Seattle,
Yeah.
he got it. He was with the Packers when he did that play, right? But then he signed with Seattle on a big deal.
Like
Right
2
before they
games into the
drafted
season.
Russell Wilson.
And then Russell Wilson beat him out. So,
Yeah.
I don't think they ever played him, Dad. I don't think he suited up for.
Oh, he did. He did,
game.
I think, but
Did
he
he?
didn't last long though.
Russell, I thought it was
Russell Wilson
before
took
the
over
season.
quickly
Yeah.
into that regime. But anyway,
Yeah.
I
Yes, he
digress.
did.
I love the locker room speech from Campbell in this one. It was
Best
like
one yet.
it was definitely his
He gets
best
up that
one.
feral growl, like, "Rah!" Like, it's just like, yes.
Skipper, you're over there
Sick.
puking or whatever you're doing. Keep doing it.
Keep it up.
That was good.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh,
That was fantastic. That was definitely the best locker room speech of the year, in my opinion. Especially because Campbell knew like they had to leave it all out there to get this dub with all the injuries and stuff they had this week.
It felt
pull
like
out
it
all the
got
stops.
him out a little out of his rut of like. This was one that actually kind of pushed into the emotions a little more than the last few weeks. You know, like we've been on a bit of a roll over inferior teams, whereas we're not down to that kind of tension and excitement and you knew it was going to be a gritty game, and it was a gritty game, and we came out on top, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. This game all around. Not for the faint of heart, though. That's for sure. I was just trying to ask myself, I'm like 80 watching these games. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna live. Like my heart. I don't know. Ever since I was a teenager or even a child watching these games, like I got nervous. I pace up and down
Mom
the room.
used to take you away from the TV because you were crying so much.
Yeah.
And we've heard stories of how you were.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
I know.
My dad
Yeah.
turned off. Dad had grounded from the games for a
We'll
week.
have life support nearby when the Super Bowl's on, so we'll be ready for you.
Keep an ambulance outside the door. Ready to go.
Oh, Lordy.
Drug him. He's got to go
But,
down.
man-
His heart's going too fast.
Jake Bates comes through yet
Again.
again for the Lions.
Yeah.
I mean, once they cross the 50, it's like, I mean, Jared Goff said himself, it's like they got 3 in their pocket, basically. He knows the way Jake Bates is kicking. It's
So does he get a game
remarkable,
ball
especially when you
every
see,
time
like-
he kicks a game winner now? Come on.
yeah, why not?
Like,
Why not? Game winner.
Do you know how many times we've seen in the NFL this year people blowing these game winners all the time, even from easy distances?
That's a good point.
Good point.
Like we've seen 2 game-winning kicks under 35 yards this year in the NFL get blocked because the kicker didn't kick it high enough. Like the Giants and the Broncos, amongst other kicks. Like the Falcons kickers missed 8. Justin Tucker's missed 12
That's incredible.
kicks this year.
Didn't the Bears get one blocked too by the Packers?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, yeah. So there's another one. That was from 45. But either way, yes. Like it's to have a kicker that
Wait,
it's hard.
where does he rank in volume then? Because I feel like 12 kicks. How many does he even have on the season? I feel like 12 is might be what he's kicked.
Yeah, I don't think he kicks as much as a lot of guys.
Like that's just a testament to our offense right there. Damn. When I heard 12 missed kicks they've been that bad at field goals this year. Holy shit.
Yeah, they've been bad.
Let me pull up the stats here. Chris Boswell's easily the best kicker in the league this year just by volume. He's had 36 field goals. The next closest is 31. And he's made 36 to 39, the Pittsburgh Steelers kicker. Jake Bates, 21 of 22 kicking. I got to look up Tucker here. I think he's missed 12, but
That 12 just might be a little. That's high. That's a lot of kicks.
Yeah, Justin Tucker's just falling apart.
Oh, sorry, 10. 8 field goals and 2 extra points he's missed.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
count
he went
extra points,
7
so-
years without missing an extra point.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
he has the worst percentage in the NFL. Then Younghoe is second worst.
Good thing Jason Hansen bowed out gracefully. 'Cause that's pretty rough.
So yes, give him the game ball every time he makes the game-winning field goals. In my opinion, even if you got to give out an extra one.
Yeah, right.
For him.
All right.
That's big. That's big.
Oh man, but another great game by Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. I'm really curious to see what happens with them after this season. But I mean, hopefully we won't find out for many weeks.
Yeah.
As until late February when they have won the Super Bowl and can actually go starting to interview. I don't understand how these guys go interview while they're in the midst of a Super Bowl run.
I know.
It just seems it's one of the more
weird.
ridiculous things that happens.
Are they?
But I mean, look,
do that?
In college, these coaches, like the Ohio coach, they win the MAC championship, and literally an hour later, after the MAC championship, he is the head coach of a new team.
Yeah.
So, like they're in the midst of their celebration, and he is.
That's wacky.
He accepted. This is a bizarre landscape, the coaching landscape.
It is.
That's
Do you guys
true.
see Bill Belichick could become the North Carolina head coach potentially?
I heard that. Yeah.
There's still some. That's a wild swing. So we're getting off topic here, but
Yeah.
the point is that like
North
the
Carolina?
coaching carousel in the NFL and college is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think it's just like the juxtaposition of like the esprit de corps you have to build to get a championship. Like all the buy-in, you gotta be like, we're family, we're families. Bye, guys, we won it. I'm out of here. Like it's like, I think it's like a whirlwind of loyalties that makes it kind of weird.
It does make it tough on loyalties. Like people who feel loyalty, loyalty is kind of
Right.
a lost attribute these days.
Well, it's that's kind of the nature of a lot of this business, I guess. Though.
Yeah.
Couple of notable things from this game. Jaden Reed, I forgot what the quote was exactly in the Mount Ross St. Brown podcast earlier this year. So, you can't wait till he comes to Detroit, and then he ends up having no catches for no yards on one target. He was a complete non-factor in some sort of word. And I think JMO has responded to him, too.
Who was that?
Jaden Reed, the wide receiver in the Packers. Talking a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thought that was funny.
Nobody, I don't know, NFL roster trying to be relevant.
Hey,
and then did you? I was curious of your opinion. Did you think Terrion Arnold was a fair pass interference call or not? I thought it was, but
yeah,
I know some of you disagree with
think
that.
it was generally.
Yeah.
Another one though, they're always due for a couple.
I know.
They're the tops of the NFL, and
but at the same time, Campbell's praising him because he's covering guys. They are blanketing guys, and he's got more calls. He's leading the league in pass interference calls, but they are blanketing receivers. And if you compare that to last year and the year before, when receivers were just getting yards on our guys, like getting wide open, it's a huge difference.
Completely agree.
You bring up these penalties, and like I have to think for a sec. Like these penalties, just they don't matter. They don't matter. Not to this team. Not to Dan Campbell. No, you don't see. Do you see?
I
Dan
prefer not
Campbell
to have
excited?
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, like in the scheme of the game and everything, it's just like they are what they are, and you move on to the next play, and like it's just like amazing. Like as soon as it happens, it's just like okay, whatever, because you don't see Dan Campbell getting all hissy fitty on the sideline. Which, by the way, the stark that juxtaposition, to go back to that word again, between Campbell and what's his face of the Packers, LaFleur, bleeds his own
That's what I wanted to
blood.
bring up. LaFleur.
He looked like a bit of a spaz over there. Honestly, I thought he looked like. If I looked at those two teams and those coaches, I would not want to play for that guy. And I
think he was a little upset because Kraft got called for those 2 interference penalties, and the Lions ran a similar pick play.
Yes.
And they didn't call it.
Whatever. He looked like a pouty, petulant child. You don't see that with Dan Campbell. The
Penalties
penalty
do
gets called,
help.
you're on to the next
the Lions when they got those
Yeah.
penalties. I think penalties affect the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think the
you just
Lions
overcome
was as
them.
egregious
They're
as what
just
the
details.
Packers did, but that's just my
I
opinion.
agree.
But
Yeah, I agree as well because Tim Patrick, it was on Tim Patrick, the one you're talking about, and I mean Tim Patrick ran right into the guy,
but he was running
the
around.
guy didn't move or
Right.
anything. What was he supposed to do? I thought they ran the.
Hey, but what's the other thing with LaFleur? Like, was a fan and him were going at it or something? Like, he's
Before the game.
That was kind of BS though. I thought
better
by the
watch it,
Lions fan there
LaFleur.
because the guy's like carrying the flag out, and then he's like jawing at the sideline and like yelling shit. I thought that was kind of disrespectful myself, but
Yeah, did anything happen to that fan? Did he get banned?
I don't
from the
know.
game or anything? It's
I
curious.
don't know.
Well, I mean, that's just to me. Well, whether or not the fans doing anything wrong there, I don't care for a coach that's letting a fan get under his skin anyway. So, the Packers can have him. I'll keep Dan Campbell.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what got.
Yeah, Dan Campbell definitely has LaFleur's number overall.
Yeah.
It was just obviously calibers of coaching to me. Like, Dan Campbell just outclassed him. That was only a game because we were aggressive and gave him a chance to kind of stick around, too, to some extent. I honestly think, maybe you punt it, maybe it's not a game, but you never know. It's ultimately we did what we had to do to win.
Aside from the Bears, there's actually pretty good coaching in the NFC North.
Yes.
I think LaFleur's a good coach.
He's a good
and
I don't think he's necessarily a bad coach.
Minnesota's got a good coach.
No, I think almost every other franchise would take LaFleur as a head coach right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not them.
Him, Kevin O'Connor, and Dan Campbell. I mean, there's a reason they're like the 3 of the 4 best teams in the NFL in one division.
It's just going to be so great. This is the golden age of the NFC North, and it's going to be the worst time ever to be an NFC North fan that's not a Detroit Lions fan. Because they're going to all have really great teams, but they're just not going to be able to get through us, baby. And it's just going to frustrate the hell out of them, and I'm going to love every second of it. It's happening. It's happening.
So we get into injuries when we do our preview podcast.
Yeah.
But just a few more things about this week that happened. So the Lions obviously moved to 12-1, but they get no relief. The Carolina Panthers drop a touchdown in the end zone with 40 seconds left that would have won them the game. I mean, the Eagles would have had 40 seconds to respond, so you never know. But either way, the Panthers dropped the go-ahead touchdown with 40 seconds left, and the Eagles squeak out one in Philly against Carolina. Carolina, by the way, Bryce Young. It looked like the Bears won that trade by a mile, but I don't know. Bryce Young has looked really good recently.
He has looked good,
I don't know what happened. It's like he took one of those limitless pills or something because he looks like a completely different human being.
Yeah,
I like Bryce Young. I hope he does well.
Does he look
we'll see.
different in the same way that what's his face over at the Cardinals looks different because it actually takes time to develop into this league sometimes and
Kyler Murray,
college court, yeah. Like these
Kyler Murray's kind of been the same quarterback.
Yeah, he kind of just.
He's been a different
I thought
style.
he's been playing a lot better though.
Well,
He always starts the year off strong, and then he gets progressively worse throughout the season. I'm not sure what
I agree.
is going on with him.
Either way, these young quarterbacks sometimes just need a chance to develop. I'm not saying Bryce Young's even going to be good, but I'm not.
But the Bryce Young
surprised that
thing's
he's
crazy.
looking better.
He was He was missing wide receivers left and right, and then he gets benched. And the only reason he had to start again was because Andy Dalton got in a car accident driving his family home from school. And then he gets back in and looks like a completely different quarterback.
Sounds like good
probably
strategy.
wouldn't be starting if it wasn't for that accident. It's just funny how these things work out.
Funny.
Hey, a benching can give you perspective.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so, anyways, the Eagles stay at 11-2. The Lions do have the tiebreaker. If the Lions were to lose to the Bills this upcoming week, the Lions would still have the tiebreaker over them because they have the better conference record. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. But the other one is the Vikings, who just blew out Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. Kirk Cousins looks awful. He looks like a quarterback that is in his late 30s and coming off an Achilles injury. What do you know? He is. They give up, but the Falcons give up 42 points. They score 42 points on the Falcons, win 42-21. Dominant performance. Jordan Addison had 3 touchdowns. Jefferson had another. It looks like Sam Darnold might be around for a little while in Minnesota.
It's looking that way.
We'll see how that works out. But anyway, so the Vikings, who a lot of people pick Purdue to finish last in the NFC North, are at 11-2, and the Lions play them to finish out the season in Week 18. So will that be for the number 1 overall seed and the division in Detroit in Week 18? That would be pretty nuts.
Yes,
To be fair, everyone thought Justin McCarthy was going to be running this offense this year, or J.J. McCarthy, not.
Well, I don't know about that, but
out of the blue.
I think the plan was always Darnold with give J.J. McCarthy some time to adjust in the NFL. I don't think they would have gave Sam Darnold $10 million. They didn't think
too,
that
I
was the
guess
case.
no one thought Darnold would find some rejuvenation. Who would guess that having 3 elite receivers can just revitalize the quarterback
Yeah, right.
and a run game? It's like, oh wow.
So the Vikings play the Bears at home on Monday night, then they're at Seattle, and then home against the Packers. So I feel like there's a loss in there somewhere. And then, of course, the Lions to finish out the season.
And the Eagles play the Steelers this week.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
The good news is no matter what they do, it only matters what we do right now. So.
Well, yes, we control our own destiny.
Yes.
Did you see that?
There's definitely
somebody
loss in
figured
their
out
season
if
left.
we lose just one more game, no matter which game it is, we'd get the NFC
Yep.
bye, first round bye and all that.
If we win one more?
No, if we lost
only
any of the
lose
4
one.
remaining games and won the rest.
Yeah.
Oh, no order matters as long as we win
even
one.
if
Everyone
one
up
game or whatever, it doesn't matter if it's just one game. But
And I believe after this week, the Vikings, Lions, and Packers are combined 27-3 against teams outside of
the division.
NFC
That's
North.
pretty amazing.
that's pretty awesome.
So they're just completely walloping the rest of the NFL.
Wow.
I think we have the only loss outside of the North. With the next two teams, don't we? Like,
Well, the
we
Vikings lost to the Rams, and
oh, never mind. I don't know.
somebody else. The Packers had a loss in there. Well, the Packers had 4 losses. Obviously, the Packers were the Lions.
I don't know what. I was listening to people who didn't know either. I guess.
And if it came down to it, too, the Lions now have the tiebreaker over the Packers. So, big bonus there. So the Lions are technically 3 games up on the Packers, even though the win-loss
I
is
love it
2.
in that game, though. There's a guy who actually
out,
had
I
a
guess,
cheese
huh?
grater with real block of cheese, and he was grating it in the game.
Awesome.
You know, did you see that? That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I missed that
a
one.
big
I
block
missed that
of,
one.
white cheddar or something. He was grating it.
That's
was
great.
fun.
I saw that.
It was fun.
Speaking of which, the fans were just once again ridiculous.
Yes.
Like outstanding. Just like this, our fan base is the best. It's awesome, and I feel like we're getting so much goodwill externally now. But like you're also getting like that like bad will, goodwill kind of thing. Like some people are starting to hate us, but we've picked up like so many new fans. Like this, it's like the ranks are swelling right now.
That's how you know you've made it
Definitely.
when your haters start growing to large numbers.
Well, that's
Then
what
we'll know.
winning does, right? Inevitably.
All right,
Brucey
so I
said
think we're
like
going to wrap
they
it
were
up
coming
here.
for them Patriots records.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. We will be back later this week with a preview of the upcoming game, a big one, at home against
Huge.
the Bills, the Buffalo Bills, the red-hot Buffalo Bills offense. This is gonna
Arguably
be,
our toughest
Red
game
Hot, they
yet.
just lost.
well,
Yeah.
yes. I guess their offense is red-hot.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, overall, they are.
so hot.
So we'll be talking about that, getting ready for that game, and we'll talk all about injuries and all that good stuff.
Yep.
You're way
but
too excited about injuries, Z.
before we leave, I want to thank our producer, Kid J. Kid J. For crushing it every single week on the pod. We want to thank
He's the best.
everybody who
around.
follows us on
Who's
YouTube.
ever
That's at
done, keep 'em
DTBK_Lions. Or if you haven't, go on there, subscribe, type in Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid on YouTube. You'll find it. Spotify, Apple, wherever you get a podcast, please download, please subscribe, please leave a review. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you to Fansided, that whole community for supporting the podcast. And last but not least, we want to thank you, the listeners, for staying with us this entire season, all the way to this historic Super Bowl that we're going to win. We can't wait.
We love you.
We can't wait. We're getting ever so closer. So ever so closer. That's a sentence, right? All right, so let's wrap it up here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back later this week with that preview. And last but not least, as always,
Go.
go.